And this episode was brought to you by DRAFTKINGS Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook and app. Not only is it safe, but it is secure, and most importantly, Deke, it is reliable. And for all those first-time users out there, because we all were first-time users at one point in our life, if you use the promo code MOATS, that's a simple code, right, MOATS?
Yeah, easy to remember.
Can't forget that. If you use the promo code MOATS, though, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. So, Deke, stop wasting time. Let them know that they need to download the app and use the promo code.
Me? You want me to do it?
Yeah, let them know.
You're the more enthusiastic person.
Just tell them, say you download it.
Come on, guys. Download it.
You heard the man. Download the app, use the promo code, and get an opportunity to make a little money. We got Amos Kasul. I think I said that right. Amos Kasul. Who's to blame for how the Steelers season ended these past few weeks? In terms of the 1-5 ending of the year, that's obviously including the wild card performance.
You want to go first?
Nah, I was gonna let you go, man. You should get You want to get it?
It's so easy just to try to blame one person. I don't think that's it, man. I think it was a lot of things. Like our defense was really banged up there, not having Joe Hayden, not having Bush, Bud Dupree. And like you said, it is funny we bring these guys up now who haven't really, in terms of Dupree and Bush.
When did Bush go down? That was...
I mean, week 4 or 5.
Right. And then...
But dude, we have these, 49s out there. We have too many 40s out there that I have no clue have played on the roster at all yesterday.
Cassius literally just got added to the roster, I think, 3 weeks ago, I want to say. It was going into... It was around Cincinnati time frame. He got put on the practice squad, and then from there they activated him. It was maybe the last 1 or 2 games of the year, but obviously he would only get like a sprinkle of defense, more so, like I said, special teams. But Highsmith going down was what really forced their hand and made them have to do that, man.
Yeah, so I think it's a combination of that, the defense wearing down, Ben making bad decisions, kind of, the offensive line playing bad, no running game. Yeah. Some drops, and then I don't know if you want to question Tomlin at all. Maybe because he's the leader, but I don't think any of that deserves the knee jerk reaction of blame this one person, get rid of this person, complete rebuild after one game. So I don't know. I think it's all that kind of stuff into play.
Yeah, I agree, man. It was. You hear Coach Tomlin talk about the popcorn, right? It's always popcorn. It's not just one person. It's not just one issue. For me, I do think a couple of variables played into it. And I'm just going to speak from a whole season standpoint. I do think the excitement of going 11-0, along with the pressure of going 11-0, I do think that weighed on them a little bit in terms of the goal becoming, we got to go 16-0, we got to remain perfect. I do think that played a bit in this, especially towards the end of it. Also that little span, man, where we talked about the 3 games of 12 days and just the fluctuating of scheduling, the fluctuating of everything. I thought that threw their rhythm off as well. You hit on a lot of the personnel stuff already, man, in terms of just the X's and O's element of it. But then also from a coaching staff standpoint, granted, I always come up here and I always say, man, it's hard to put it all on Randy Fichtner because Ben has full autonomy when it comes to the offense. He checks whenever he wants. So if the play doesn't work, it's more so on him, less than the coordinator who calls in multiple plays to him to let him call. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. But I still feel like a portion of the blame does go on Randy Fichtner. No different how we looked at that Bills offense. And the reason why I bring them up is because they're kind of like the new exciting thing, right? Kansas City, we know who they are. But in terms of the young coordinator up there and Brian Daboll, and then obviously Josh Allen, how just creative they were with some of these plays that they would do, we never saw creativity, consistency. We saw sprinkles of, right? That Philly game, man, we saw creativity that we hadn't seen all year, and it was exciting. But we never got a chance to see a lot more consistency and innovativeness working out. Outside of that, I mean, the Cleveland game was probably the next time we really saw some type of creativity when they introduced the zone read stuff with Dobbs. But outside of that, we didn't see a lot of creativity. So even though Ben is in control of what plays they're going to actually run, these plays are still designed by Randy Fichtner. And that's the part that falls on him. And that was the part we always, when we would talk about who deserves the blame between the two, we said both of them deserve it. And I feel like it's equal because Ben still can check in and out of whatever he wants to, but these are all designed by Fichtner.
The base of it.
Right. And we never saw crazy concepts to help them run the ball. We never saw crazy concepts to help them when Ben was struggling a little bit, right? When the receivers were struggling with their catches, we never saw them, have an answer, have an adjustment. It was still just the same thing. Let's just throw it up and hope for the best. I feel like when you have a top tier coordinator or somebody who, you think about how Coach Tom, he specializes in defense, right? So at times that the defense is struggling, he's able to make adjustments on the fly to fix it. We never saw any of that stuff happen with Randy Fichtner. The adjustments that we would see was more so, all right, Ben just starts to play hero ball. He can make these plays and it works out. But it wasn't, man, that's an adjustment. We can see it tangible. It's an adjustment. Outside of a difference of tempo, we never saw mass changes of anything like that. So a lot of that does fall on Randy. And that's why he's going to be harshly criticized, and rightfully so. But in terms of, like I said, man, everything that transpired, it was all of that. And then at the end, obviously, Coach Thomas, he has to take a good amount of this because he's the captain of the ship. Right, wrong, or indifferent. I understand that he doesn't go out there and play on the field, but he gets those guys ready to play. He's the one who coaches them up. He gets them in terms of skill development. When I see Cassius Marsh out there not be able to set an edge, that is a coach issue, because you have seen him in practice. You have evaluated this guy. So for you to put him out there, him not be able to stand up consistently and set an edge of a defense, that's not on that player anymore, because that player isn't putting himself in that game. You could have put Ola Adeniyi out there, or you could have done what they did do eventually, which was go to a big nickel, where essentially you're going to have Cam Hayward play out there on the edge and set the edge. And we've seen them do that before. Obviously, when they play Baltimore, they'll have Cam playing a true DN. Problem is, when you do that, what you're going to get from coverage, you're going to get Spillane matched up on Jarvis Landry. You're going to get TJ walked out on some of these receivers. So it's a gift and a curse with it. But for me, when I see a guy not being able to set the edge, and we know as an outside linebacker, man, the two things that Coach Tomlin wants from you and will absolutely demand, number one, you set an edge on his defense, and number two, you rush this passer like a madman. It's that simple. You can play if you do those two things, but not being able to set an edge, that's elementary. That's if this is my first day coaching you, or you're my outside linebacker, I don't care about anything else. Once I teach you your stance and the call, you better be able to set this edge. I don't care how great of a pass rush you are. If you can't set this edge, you're not seeing this field. So the fact that he was out there and you knew he was going to struggle like that, that falls on coaching. Some of the personal decisions, that falls on coaching. So that's why when we say it's multiple people, and I feel like multiple people holding a heavy burden of that blame, it's because of stuff like that. Personnel, yeah, we got on you, like I said, you hit on the personnel people. You hit on the drops in the field stuff, but some of the decision making that went along with that, to me, that you can't do that, man. You can't. And it's not like they didn't have options. You had options, but you saw, and we saw what it looked like when it happened, man. They got out physical. That was rough. It was rough to watch, man. Very rough to watch. So
they were saying, from what I looked up, Fichtner's contract is up after this season.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What's the deal with the DC?
With Butler, well, all the coordinators, they should alternate, because they only sign 1 or 2 year deals max. Okay. So if Fichtner is up this year, then Butts might be up next year, just depending on when they signed it. Because obviously, remember, for Fichtner, he got his promotion to OC later than Butts. So I don't know just how that range was going. And obviously, when I say Butts, I'm talking about Keith Butler, the DC. We just call him Butts, his nickname. But in terms of his contract is different, because remember, he was already employed as a linebackers coach for a while and was on longer term deals as a position coach, which you typically don't see at this level. So that's why, in terms of, I don't know how much is left on his deal, but with Randy, they always, with position coach, they typically like to stay in 1 to 2 year deals max. So you got flexibility. If, he wants to get a job as a head coach somewhere, this is hypothetically, not saying that he's going to, but just in general, the reason you do the shorter deals is because, hey, this guy might want to bump up and take a job somewhere else where we don't have to worry about the buyouts and everything that goes along that nature. Man, okay, as the head coach, I might not like what I saw from you. I might want to go a different direction. If I fire you, man, it's going to create media, right? We got to answer those things. People are going to criticize it. I don't have to fire if it's a 1 year deal. I just don't have to re-sign you. That's what happened with Joey Porter, right? People say, oh, he was fired. Technically, he wasn't fired. They just simply said, well, hey, man, it's a 1 year deal. We don't have to re-sign you. We're just going to let you go, and we're going to go and work on it that way. So that's how you put that safe bet in. That's why you always hear the Steelers talking about, whoa, man, we don't fire coaches. We don't fire a lot of coaches here. I mean, let's be real. How many coaches have they fired? Think about how, I mean,
none. From my memory, I can't remember.
I think it was a special teams coach in 2010. It was either 2010 or 11. They ended up getting fired. And the only reason I know was this. Because it was the year we played Pittsburgh in Buffalo, Stevie, the overtime drop, everything. But going into the game, the special teams coach had got fired because they say he was like, apparently had like a drinking issue or something. I don't know him personally, but that's what the media has said and things like that. And ultimately why he ended up getting fired. Other than that, and I remember them saying, man, he's the first coach that got fired in so many years. I was like, yo, this is crazy compared to Buffalo where, you know, we firing coaches left and right. It's like, man, you get fired. I'm like, what do you mean y'all don't fire coaches? That's not a thing. Like, it's the first day after the game over. Yeah, everybody clean out the locker room. Every coach is fired. Like, that's not normal here. But Pittsburgh, that's how they alternate. So that's why with Butler, I'm not sure 100% how much he has left. But with Fichtner, that's the whole purpose of him having that. Whereas now, if they wanted to just smoothly transition to Matt Canada as the guy, right? Or if they wanted to go out there and bring in another OC, a higher profile guy, you can do that without it being messy. You can do it without it ruffling feathers and looking bad for the brand of the Steeler way.